Hello everyone and welcome to a quick guide on Desperados. I'll be briefly talking about this monstrous class today since I'm not extremely sufficient when it comes to playing this class, but I have a general idea on how they work. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. So what is Desperado? Desperado is the highest single target DPS class in the game, unrivaled by every single target DPS. Desperado excels at spitting out extremely high amounts of damage every couple of seconds if built properly. So how do I play a Desperado? Desperado is generally very easy. Pretty much like every other class, the most important thing is obtaining stacks. As you guys are already aware, stacks comes in different forms such as Osiris and Athena. Eventually, Goddess, Zeus, and Anubis are also a source of obtaining stacks that are even greater than Osiris and Athena. The idea is to build stacks, obtain lots of damage limit, and reaching those damage limits. And if you have damage metals such as Odin, Kelpie, and Pentagram, go ahead and use those as well. Smash that burst button if you need it, and slam that damage. So how do I go about building a Desperado? Most of you guys are aware that to build a breaker, so it's generally the same thing. You get 2 to 3 stackers, get 1 or 2 dual axes or burst weapons, and get 1 damage limit enhancer. Special tier 4 weapons are also good in certain scenarios in rushed cheese fights. And in terms of gear, Desperado armor and pants are the way to go, mainly because Desperados have extremely high damage limits, and in order to reach those passives and reach those limits, you need the skill power that is from each equipment, because it helps extremely high amounts in order to reach those limits. So tier 4 armor is the way to go. In terms of accessories, Desperado has gloves and hats that are helpful as well in obtaining these skill power limits, as well as the hit from gloves and the damage limit from hat is also very nice to have. And in terms of shoes, gigantic melee shoes are the way to go, mainly because of that flat element they provide and that extremely high amounts of stats in element. That is, you guys are already aware, element is the best stat to have. And in terms of metals, elemental genius is fine up until Pentagram, Odin, and Kelpie. In terms of supports for weapons, you want as much crit as possible. Desperados have high damage limits as stated earlier, so you want to make sure you always have crit, otherwise your damage significantly goes down if you cannot crit 100% of the time. 4,500 crit is the average from what I've seen on good Desperados, so stack crit, stack the chance, always throw a bit into element when you get the chance. They're very nice to have. Usually a general idea to stack is to have element, crit, and P attack. The good thing about stacking dual axes is that P attack and crit comes hand in hand, so it's easy to get. However, element is always a little step behind because Desperados have a hard time stacking elements. So if you get the chance for it, stack them. They are very good to have in weapons. As for armor primary support is always to have armor. Good examples are divine armor, beast armor, champion armor. They are very good to have in the armor support slots. In terms of supports, you want a mix of however you like. Personally, I like element and crit, and here is an example of Valkyrie shoes and guardian hats. A little bit of everything, a little bit of element, magic defense, P defense, HP, and crit. So that is a very solid choice. So the pros and cons of Desperado. Pros: highest single target damage in the game. Usually they were rivaled by assassins, but with the new Goddess series, this series makes it so a Desperado is unrivaled whatsoever. So the difference between an assassin and a Desperado usually comes from assassin having sustained damage and the stacks. Well, Goddess is a burst stacker, meaning you can still do damage while gaining stacks. And most Desperados, an extremely good Desperado, has 3 stackers. And 3 goddesses basically means you can always do damage as well as obtain stacks. This is where a Desperado overcomes an assassin, because assassins have low damage limit, whereas a Desperado has 3 to 4 times their damage limit. So you already know where I'm going at with this. As long as quick territory is involved, that shortens the cooldown on goddesses, meaning a Desperado will always out DPS an assassin when they have a proper build. And they are very good at skipping gimmicks, because burst means you can spit out a lot of damage within a short period of time, meaning you can skip gimmicks and you don't have to go do some gimmicks and fights if your Desperados are very, very strong. It is very easy to get good build on them because they can use Osiris, meaning Osiris is easy to get, so you can just get some Osiris, put them together, and there you go, there's a Desperado build. They are always loved, very easy to get into teams because Desperados are, again, the best DPS in the game. So always loved, easy to get into parties, very, very easy. Also, they have big axes and they also wear a fedora, so there goes the pros. As for cons, they receive 30% more damage from magic, so if you go against some magic content, just be prepared to take a lot of damage and prepare to hit the floor a lot because they take extremely amounts of damage when it comes to these contents. So with great power comes great responsibility, so be careful, guys. That's why you should build a little bit of tanky when you get the chance, because Desperados are very, very squishy. They have no AoE damage. This comes from a passive. Breakers have this too. Where, not Breakers, that's from the other passive. But Desperados have no AoE. As shown here, when I use a story weapon, it does 0 damage to the Mandra because they are not allowed to do any AoE damage whatsoever. They are strictly solo DPS. Single target solo DPS. Now, in order to get an extremely high and strong powerful build, it takes a lot of investments and a lot of time to get into it. So, if you want to be extremely powerful, you need to put a lot into that class. So, a very good build in Japan server is 3 goddesses with 1 Zeus or Durando, depending on what content you want to do, and 1 damage limit. So goddesses are very, very hard to get. If you guys thought Athena was harder to get, goddesses are even harder to get. And you need 3 of them to be a very, very good DPS. And Zeus, you guys already know. I had a video last time trying to get a Zeus. Didn't get one. Very, very hard to get a very powerful Desperado. So best of luck, guys, on getting one. It's not easy. So with that being said, again, guys, a Desperado is a very powerful class, still favored by many players in the Japan server. Most reliable single target DPS that is extremely hard to replace. Make sure that if you're aiming to become a powerful Desperado, you are willing to spend a lot of crystals into this class. So this class needs to be nurtured, needs to be invested into in order to see great results coming from this class. It's the most powerful class in the game. Hopefully this video shines some light for you breakers aiming to become Desperados one day. Let this video motivate you to aim to become a class that is well unrivaled by any other class in the game. So before I sign out, I'll leave you guys with a little clip from Titan EX. Ignore my rubbish damage. I'm not fully invested into Desperado yet, but observe the other Desperados around me that are also doing damage and doing actual damage. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.